This is the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. We have assembled the world's finest sports and trivia dorks to prove once and for all that we are just as bad at this as we were at sports.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, sports trivia for those of us who rode the pine. You're listening to episode 289. I'm your host, Josh, and today's game will be pitting the team of Benchwarmer Walling and head coach for our Patreon team, Dave Wortz, versus Benchwarmer Taco and assistant coach for our Patreon team, Tim Geving. Welcome back to the bench, gentlemen. Dave, why don't you take a minute to let us know what you've been up to since we last heard from you?
Well, since you last heard from me, I just was recording from the other day for the Super Bowl. That was Super Bowl Foods episode that on Patreon. That was absolutely a blast. I'm Dave Wortz here in the freezing cold Milwaukee, Wisconsin right now. Everything is running on ice. I'm a special education teacher, elementary level. I also do pro wrestling, improv comedy. And now at this point, I'm just rolling in the dad life, just as much dad jokes, dad stuff as humanly possible. So I'm living the dream. I busted out my old 90s Henry Ford Museum crew neck sweater to really live that dad dream. And I'm ready to go and ready to team with Walling.
All right. Well, thanks, Dave. Again, you'll be teaming with Walling. So, Eric, let us know how you were doing and what Dave and your team name is going to be tonight.
I'm on the last leg of my my Christmas vacation, my 2 weeks off of work. I did wake up on Friday thinking I'm going to answer some work emails, and I looked at 2 and I went, nope, I'm just going to go ahead and enjoy the rest of this vacation. So that was so I'm really struggling to get motivated for what tomorrow is going to be. My kids still have one more day off. But we are buried here in the Midwest underneath a good 10-ish inches of snow. So it's been the biggest snowstorm in Kansas City in 60 years. And that is the one thing that will keep the snow thrower at my house for another decade. So, I'm going to kick it actually back over to my teammate because he's the one that came up with the team name, and I want to give him credit for it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Walling. But, today we got the big news. Gerard Mayo got let go. First year in New England, and I thought what better way to honor his legacy as a head coach with the team name of What the Hell Mans.
Oh, that's good.
Dad jokes aplenty, right? Is that what you were saying?
There was a tweet that went out the other day that was like, if the universe has any sense of humor, North Carolina will win the Mayo Bowl next year.
All right. Now, Tim, why don't you take a minute and let us know what's new with you?
Oh, not much. Doing the whole dad thing, getting ready to pretty excited. Actually going to go to Royal Rumble for the first time. I've never been to like a big pay-per-view.
Enjoy.
I know, I can't wait. So it's in Indy in February 1st. So my 12-year-old wanted to go, and I was like, yes, please. So that was his big Christmas present was us going. So we're about 30 rows from the ring. So it's going to be, I'm pretty stoked. It should be fun. And other than that, I got to go watch a little USA soccer too. They played Jamaica down in St. Louis. That was fun to watch. The little national team, they won. 4-2. It was 3-0 at one point. I think we ended up winning 4-2. But yeah, just doing, running around, chasing kids, living life, good times. And we're snowed in at the moment, just like Walling said. I'm in Springfield, Illinois, and so I'm right in the same path of the storm as he is. So we have about 8 inches, and we are it's still coming down. So the kids are out of school tomorrow. So I thought nothing better than to go hide in a hole in my at my house and come on here for a couple hours, hide from them.
Well, we appreciate you being here. And as mentioned, you'll be teaming with Taco. So, Matt, let us know how you are doing and what Tim and your team name is going to be.
Well, I'm also facing the same cold weather problems that everybody else here is facing. It was in the mid-50s here in the Bay Area. I had to put socks on with my flip-flops as I went outside. It was real tough. My toesies got a little cold, So, it's thoughts and prayers from me personally. Tim and my team name, because we are Tim and Taco, we are keeping it simple and effective, and our team name today will be TNT Dynamite.
All right, so we have What the Hell Mans versus TNT Dynamite. But before we get to questions, we need to kick it over to Benchwarmer Emeritus Dan for the rules.
The game will consist of 4 quarters of play, each with different trivia style. The styles of quarters 1 through 3 will change from show to show, and I will explain them as we go along. Like any good sporting event, we will have a halftime show after the second quarter with entertainment questions. And in the fourth quarter, our teams will wager from their points accumulated to see who are today's clipboard captains, to be honored like the true benchwarmers they are. All right, let's get this game underway.
He sounds put off. I wonder if he's still dealing with the effects of watching PJ Fleck get a bucket of mayo dumped on his head. I mean,
That's something you never unsee.
He's in the Midwestern haze of the snow as well, I guess.
it was cold there apparently during the
Mid-50s cold?
No, actually, he sent a thing out to everybody. It was in the 30s in Charlotte, so a little less than shorts weather. Not by a lot.
I've never heard of a temperature that cold.
All right, well, let's get on with some trivia. Today's first quarter will be sporting haikus.
Sporting haikus. For this quarter, there will be 4 questions in haiku form. Each question is worth 25 points.
Haiku number 1. A new club of 1 with 4,000 passing yards, 900 rushing.
Hey, Josh, for the first time in 2025, we're going to check in.
Woohoo! The first check-in of the new year. So What the Hellmans has checked in. So TNT Dynamite, you guys can talk it out.
Yeah, I think you're right, Tim. I think it's got to be Lamar Jackson.
I think it was plastered all over TV last night when they were playing, or yesterday afternoon.
Yeah. The only thing that was taking a second was like, could this be a college guy? But I think for the first quarter, there's no point in trying to overthink things. So I think you're right on there.
Okay,
we'll check in Lamar Jackson.
All right, and What the Hellmans, what did you guys have for an answer?
And even though all my fantasy leagues smartly are already done this week, I watched a lot of Red Zone today, and this came up as they were talking about the game the other night, and so we also checked in with Lamar Jackson.
Starting off a little easy, both teams are getting their points. Correct answer is Lamar Jackson. Jackson is also the only quarterback to produce at least 3,000 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards in a season. He did that in 2019, so he has 2 clubs of 1 for himself. Seems a little selfish, but what can you do? All right, moving on to haiku number 2. Locker room cancer. Up to his old tricks again. He wants off the heat.
Well, that can't take too long. Yeah, let's just check it in right now.
Yeah.
All right, What the Hellmans has checked in. So TNT Dynamite, you can talk it out if you need to.
I've just been imagining the like behind the scenes meetings with one James Buckets, where I always imagine him in the preseason emo hairstyle, where he's just complaining to Pat Riley like, "It's not a phase. Come on, Dad. I'm serious. I don't want to be here.
Want to be traded away."
It's emo Jimmy.
So should we check in with Jimmy Butler?
I think we should.
All right, and What the Hellmans, what do you guys have for an answer?
Oh, man, and here I thought it was Gilbert Arenas. No, yeah, we checked in with Jimmy Butler as well.
Well, you guys know me well. The correct answer is Jimmy Butler, and Butler continues to prove that he's a grade A FTG. It was just a matter of time. I tell everybody, he's happy for small windows of time, and then he becomes a malcontent. So
There was rumors that the Mavericks are one of the teams that he wants to go to, and I can't think of a team Josh would hate more than if Kyrie, Luka, and Jimmy Butler were all on the same roster.
Oh boy!
I mean, it does consolidate your hatred into one locale.
That's I don't see the Mavs being that dumb.
No, they have nothing left to trade at all, like nothing.
That also doesn't help. So, all right, well, let's move on to haiku number 3 and leave Jimmy Buckets in the past. Father Time winning, missed 8 FG beyond 40, the GOAT place kicker.
We could check in.
That TNT Dynamite, you guys checked in?
Yeah, we'll check in.
All right, and what the Hellmans, you guys can give me your answer, I think. I don't think you probably have to talk it out much.
No, not much to talk about here. Brandon Aubrey will be there one day, but for now, it's Justin Tucker.
Woof.
All right, and TNT Dynamite, what do you guys have for an answer?
Yeah, we said Justin Tucker as well. Kind of fell off a little bit this year, but when you're that good for so many years and you start missing just a few, everybody says you're over the hill. So yeah, Justin Tucker.
Both teams are getting their points. Correct answer is Justin Tucker, and he's fallen off a little more than just a bit. His field goal percentage this season is almost 17 percentage points less, 73.3, than his career average of 90.2 coming into the season. So now his career is now below 90%, which I get it. It's still, he's going to be a Hall of Famer at some point, when they allow another kicker to get in.
But what other kickers sing opera? Remember, that was a big thing. That was all. I remember that. Everything he said.
I'm still stuck on the Brandon Aubrey take. All we've been talking about of how cold it is, yet Walling coming out with hot takes.
It's the only thing worth watching on the Cowboys this year is could he kick a 70-yard field goal?
Fair. All right, let's move on to the fourth and final haiku. Lewis Hamilton, his new team for 25, most constructors champs.
We'll check in.
All right, TNT Dynamite is checked in, so what the Hellmans, you guys can talk it out.
What Josh doesn't know is that I wrote a very similarly worded question in my fourth quarter episode that was recorded right before break.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so for those of you who listened to the Shannon Sharp pre- and post-game round episode, you'll know the answer to this one is Ferrari.
Yes, it is.
All right. And TNT Dynamite, what'd you guys have?
Yeah, I'm still pouring one out for my boy Carlos Sainz for getting his seat unceremoniously taken from him. But yes, this is Ferrari.
Yeah, Carlos Sainz didn't do anything to truly deserve to lose his seat other than having a 7-time world champion decide he wanted to go there. That's
right. He was third in the driver's standings, and he lost his seat.
I think he might have been fourth.
Yeah,
but still, you're top 5 and you lose your seat. That's pretty rough. But yes, both teams are getting points. Correct answer is Ferrari. Ferrari has won 16 World Constructors Championships. Both Williams and McLaren, who won the 2024 championship, have won 9. And Hamilton will be trying to win a record 8th World Drivers' Championship with his new team to break his tie with Michael Schumacher. All right, well, after the first quarter, it's easy to add up these scores. No questions were missed, so it's 100 to 100.
We wanted to let you know that we are on Patreon if you'd be interested in supporting us financially. Your contributions will be used to help us cover the costs that it takes to bring you the high-quality sports trivia you have come to expect from us. There's also some great perks that come with the Patreon membership to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, including bonus episodes and Benchwarmers swag. You can find us at patreon.com/benchwarmerstp. Thanks.
And today's second quarter will be pre- and post-game.
Pre- and post-game. For this quarter, there will be 4 before and after style questions. For example, if I said, What all-time leader in receptions for the Indianapolis Colts was a Notre Dame safety drafted by the Minnesota Vikings? The answer would be Marvin Harrison Smith. Each question is worth 25 points.
Question 1 in pre and post. What back-to-back winner of the Australian Open from 2023 and 2024, who also won the 2024 U.S. Open, is also the NBA center who has been nicknamed the Big Bodega by his new teammates?
Hey, Josh.
Yes, sir.
For the second time in 2025, our team is going to check in first, I think.
I think you might have checked in a second time.
For the third time in 2025.
All right. What the Hellmans has checked in, so TNT Dynamite, you guys can talk it out briefly and let me know what your answer is.
This is unfortunate that it's pre and post game because Jeopardy rules don't apply here. Because I'm pretty sure the back half is Karl Anthony Towns. Big Bodega makes sense because he just got traded to New York. The front half, tennis player that ended in Car or Ka, and then Sabalenka is a name, but I have no idea what that woman's first name is. It's probably it because she is good.
I didn't know it was a woman until you just said that because I was thinking the first name was like Antonio. So that
no, she's Eastern European, Belarus maybe. I can't get my first thought was Victoria Azarenka, which is much older, but now I can't get the name Victoria out of my head, and I'm trying to get it out of my head. How about Maria? I feel like there's Russians and Belarusians named Maria.
Sounds good.
All right, let's go with, we're going to check in with Maria Sabalenka, Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay, and what the Hellmans, what did you guys have for an answer?
Well, it was running into a very similar situation over here. Thank goodness I name dropped Gilbert Arenas earlier. That helped me bring it to Arina Sabalenka, Karl Anthony Towns.
One team will be getting points. The correct answer is Arina Sabalenka, Karl Anthony Towns. So Yannick Sinner also won the 2024 Australian Open and U.S. Open, but did not win the 2023 Australian Open. That was Novak Djokovic. Both Sabalenka and Sinner are the current world number ones for singles. And through 33 games as a Nick, Towns is averaging 24.7 points per game and 14 rebounds per game.
Josh is waiting for the other shoe to drop.
It's regular season. This is what he does. Let's see him do it in the postseason.
Far more bodegas in New York than there are in Minnesota. Can you imagine the Minnesota bodega?
One. There's one in all of Minnesota.
It's nothing but lutefisk.
Actually, I think we do have some in like Minneapolis, but not nearly the number. All right, let's move on to question 2 in pre and post game. What 3-time NBA champion shooting guard who was the 4th overall pick in the 1983 NBA draft out of Arizona State is also the back-to-back winner of the Players' Championship from 2023 and 2024?
Hey, Josh.
Yes, sir.
For the 4th time, allegedly, in 2025.
Just add one.
Or 3rd, depending on who's keeping track. We're going to check in.
All right, what the Hellmans has checked in, so TNT Dynamite, you guys can talk it out.
Tim, I think you got it.
You think it is? I think. Do you know where Byron Scott went to school?
I don't for sure, but the time frame fits and the 3-time NBA championship fits.
Okay, we'll check in with Byron Scott Scheffler.
Okay, and what the Hellmans, what did you guys have?
Scott Scheffler is his father. But yeah, drafted right after Rodney McRae. That is Byron Scotty Scheffler.
I will be giving points to both teams because I'm sure that there have been times where he's been called Scott, even though he goes by Scotty. But yeah, so the correct answer is Byron Scotty Scheffler. Byron won NBA Coach of the Year in 2008 when he was coaching the New Orleans Hornets. And Scheffler became the first golfer to win the Players' Championship in back-to-back years. All right, moving on to question 3 in pre and post game. What winner of the 2024 Kentucky Derby was also the starting shortstop for the 2021 World Series champions?
Hey, Josh,
Yes.
for the umpteenth time in 2025, we're going to check in.
All right, what the Hellmans has checked in, so TNT Dynamite, you guys can talk it out.
I think we're there. 2021 World Series was the Braves, so their shortstop would have been Dansby Swanson. And then thinking about horses with the last name Dan, I guess, if you want to call it that. But I'm pretty sure it's Mystic Dan. Does that sound right to you, Tim?
Yeah, we were actually during the Derby. I was actually on a bachelor party up in Chicago. Went to a Wrigley, and they have a sports book there. And one of the guys with us said his dad's number was like number 3, and so he's like, "Hey, put $50 on the 3-horse for me." And so I did, and he ended up winning like $900 because
Nice.
remember Mystic Dan was such a large long shot. So yeah, he paid for the rest of the night. It was a good night after that. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's it. Mystic
All right.
Dansby Swanson.
Check it in.
All right, and what the Hellmans, what did you guys have for an answer?
Massive upset that Dansby Swanson didn't end up a lacrosse player. That is the most lacrosse name I think there is. We worked together as a team. Again, Dave came up with the first half as I was thinking of the second half, and we also checked in with Mystic Dansby Swanson.
Both teams are getting points. Correct answer is Mystic Dansby Swanson. Mystic Dan finished second at the 2024 Preakness Stakes, losing to Seize the Gray. And Swanson is a 2-time All-Star and a 2-time Gold Glove winner. And that brings us to question 4, our last question in pre- and post-game. What Toronto Maple Leaf, who led the NHL in goals for the 2023-24 season with 69, nice, was also the 2011 NFL Comeback Player of the Year?
Josh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to tell you how many times we've checked in 2025, but this is another one.
All right, what the Hellmans has checked in, so TNT Dynamite, you guys can talk it out.
I'm pretty sure Austin Matthews is the first half, which gives us some sort of Matthews something. Would Matthew Stafford have won Comeback Player of the Year in 2011? Did he get hurt and then was not hurt?
That's what I'm thinking of. I thought he was the Iron Man for a while,
Right.
but that might have been after that, going forward. But I can't think of anybody else that would be Matthew.
Yeah, I can't think of another Matthew S. It's somebody whose first name begins with Fuse. I don't think that's going to be
Hugh
Austin Matthews.
Matthews.
Houston Street.
No.
No, I think you're right. I think we're overthinking it.
All right. We will check in Austin Matthews Stafford.
Okay, and what the Hellmans, what did you guys have for an answer?
Yeah, we were feeling the exact same feeling. Austin Matthews Stafford.
Well, good thing you were feeling that because that is the correct answer. Austin Matthews Stafford. Austin holds the record for most goals in an NHL debut in the modern era with 4 goals. And Stafford holds the NFL record for career playoff passing yards per game with a minimum of 150 attempts with 307.9 yards per game. Stafford, like, he got a shoulder injury like in the 3rd game and he was out for like a handful of games, came back, re-injured the shoulder, which had to have significant repair. So he had a big chunk of that season that he was not playing due to injury. So, okay, well, after the second quarter, if I can see where to click on my score sheet here, we do no longer have a tie because one answer was missed. TNT Dynamite's at 175, and What the Hellmans is at 200. And that brings us to halftime.
It is now time for the halftime show. There will be 3 entertainment questions. Each question is worth 25 points.
Today's halftime will be another CV edition. Name the athlete with the following acting credits. Note, this is only a sample of their acting credits. CV number 1, The Man with the Iron Fists, 2012. Riddick, 2013. Spectre, 2015. Blade Runner 2049, 2017. Army of the Dead, 2021. Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery, 2022. Guardians of the Galaxy Trilogy, 2014 to 2023. And Dune, 2021 to 2024.
Josh, we will, for some number fewer than the other team times in 2025, we will check in.
All right, TNT Dynamite is checked in, so what the Hellmans, you guys can talk it out.
I don't know how much we need to talk out. I mean, it's a pro wrestler. I'm a pro wrestler. There's no way that I can. I'm just a little bit disappointed we weren't checking in on this one. But way to go, Tim and Taco. I like it. It's Dave Bautista, man.
All right. And TNT Dynamite, what'd you guys have for an answer?
Yeah, it took a second, but then Army of the Dead and Glass Onion in quick succession was, that's got to be Batista, and then Guardians of the Galaxy clinched it. So we also checked in with Dave Bautista.
All right. Well, both teams are getting points because the correct answer is Dave Bautista. Bautista also had a main role in season 2 of C on Apple TV Plus, starring Jason Momoa. I really enjoyed this show, so if you haven't seen it and you have Apple TV Plus, go watch C.
Conversely, no one enjoyed Army of the Dead.
Especially the once you find out that Tig Notaro was not actually originally cast in that movie, and then you notice that all of the scenes with her are weird cutaways. Way less enjoyable.
All right, let's move on to question 2 of halftime. CV number 2, Highlander Endgame 2000. Haven 2011 to 2015. Vikings 2017 to 2018. Money Plane 2020. And Percy Jackson and the Olympians 2024.
Hey, Josh.
Yep.
For yet another time in 2025, we're going to check in.
All right, what the Hellmans is checked in, so TNT Dynamite, you guys can talk it out.
Tim, I think you have it.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's Adam Copeland, aka Edge.
Or
I think
Cope.
you're right. It's
Cope now.
Right.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's check in with Adam Copeland or Edge.
Okay, and what the Hellmans, what did you guys have for an answer?
Man, another wrestler. The only thing I could think of as soon as you said Money Plane, I was like, I remember that movie, and also remembering that no one enjoyed that. Yeah, it's Cope.
Well, both teams will be getting points. Correct answer is Adam Edge Copeland. In 2015, Edge portrayed Al Rothstein, a.k.a. Adam Smasher, in one episode of The Flash. And while you don't think of him as a capital A actor, if you have not seen Percy Jackson and the Olympians, he was extremely good in it. So
Percy Jackson and the Olympians is the porn knockoff.
Oh.
I don't really want to know why you know that, but
He's producing it. That's why you know.
It's in
He's
post.
producing a lot of things at that point.
I think that if we use that as the episode title, we'll actually broaden our horizons of all the listeners.
I'm not
we get
sure.
to,
Mason.
just
I'm
saying.
not sure we want that.
Hey, clicks are clicks, right?
Okay, let's just move on to CV number 3, shall we? Oh boy. All right, CV3. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, 1991. Black Dog, 1998. The Punisher, 2004. The Longest Yard, 2005. Rock of Ages, 2012. John Wick, 2014. Chick Fight, 2020. Dog, 2022. And the Magic Mike trilogy, 2012 to 2023.
Hey, Josh, we're going to go ahead and check in.
All right, TNT Dynamite is checked in. What the Hellmans, you guys can talk it out.
As a person who based my life around Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, and the scene with Vanilla Ice, I remember the fact that Kevin Nash was Shredder, or was like in the Shredder body.
Super Shredder.
Super Shredder, yes. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Kevin Nash. I didn't mean to undermine what level of Shredder you were. So
I did have to like potentially hold off because Meatloaf was in Black Dog, and that could have been a potential.
yes,
Is
famous left tackle.
Was Meatloaf an athlete?
Well, I don't know. He definitely did a lot of running, running his mouth at the very least.
Nash it is. Check in.
All right. And TNT Dynamite, what did you guys have?
Yeah, as soon as you said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, that's when I said Kevin Nash. I think we could have 3-2-1 that one, I think. But yeah, we checked in with Kevin Nash.
Both teams are getting points. Correct answer is Kevin Nash. And as you mentioned, Nash portrayed Super Shredder in TMNT 2. So I would say this halftime was well suited for this crowd. So seemed the right bunch to have.
If you could have just read off a bunch of Marine sequels as well. That would have gave you like The Miz and there's one other. Randy Orton had like a couple of films too.
Wasn't DiBiase's kid in one of them?
Oh yeah. Oh dear Lord, Ted DiBiase Jr. Good God.
All right. Well, after that wrestling heavy halftime, we have the following scores. The difference has not changed, but the point totals have. TNT Dynamite's at 250, and What the Hellman's at 275. Today's third quarter will be The Missing Link.
The Missing Link. This quarter will consist of 5 questions with theme-linked answers. The teams will attempt to answer the questions and guess the theme. Each question is worth 20 points. If a team checks in first via chat to the host with the correct theme before the 5th question, they will earn 100 points. The other team can still earn 50 points with the correct theme guess. If neither team has checked in with the correct theme before the 5th question, each team can earn 50 points with the correct answer to the theme after the 5th question.
So Matt Doherty doesn't typically have to edit missing links, but he has to every once in a while. It's just
we got to keep him humble. Throw him one every once in a while. Keep him humble.
Question number 1 in the missing link. In 1991, what second baseman became the 6th Rookie of the Year to win a World Series in the same year?
Okay, I'm good with that. You good with
Let's
that?
do it. Yeah.
All right. Hey, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
I won't even tell you, but we're going to check in.
All right. What the Hellmans has checked in, so TNT Dynamite, you guys can talk it out.
1991 was the Twins championship, their first one. So it's got to be Chuck Knobloch, I think.
Yeah, that's when he was able to throw the ball to first base.
Sure, Chuck Knobloch with 2 working arms. Yeah, I don't think it can be anybody else.
No, I agree.
We will check in Chuck Knobloch.
Okay, and what the Hellmans, what did you guys have?
Yeah, years before he airmailed one off of Keith Olbermann's mom's head, he was a useful second baseman. That's Chuck Knobloch.
And both teams will be getting points. The correct answer is Chuck Knobloch. And Taco, I don't know if I heard you. Did you say it was the Twins' first? That was actually their second World Series. I don't know if that's what you said. It sounded like that's what you said, but
oh yeah.
I just wanted to correct the record. The first was 87, and the second baseman was not a rookie, but that was Steve Lombardozzi. For nobody needing to know that information. The previous players to accomplish this feat were Gil McDougald in 1951, Tom Tresh in 1962, Jim Lefevre in 1965, Pat Zachary in 1976, and Fernando Valenzuela 1981. Rest in peace. And it has happened 4 times since. Derek Jeter in 96, Dontrelle Willis in 03, Dustin Pedroia in 07, and one Buster Posey in 2010. All right, let's move on to question 2 in the missing link. What Hall of Fame and 4-time Super Bowl champion outside linebacker played his entire career with the Pittsburgh Steelers from 1971 to 1982?
Hey, Josh.
Yes, sir?
We're going to check in again in 2025.
All right. What the Hellmans has checked in. So TNT Dynamite, you guys can talk it out.
Okay, so this is I was having a crisis in the chat with Tim because I always get Jack Lambert and Jack Ham confused because I know they were both linebackers for the Steelers in the 70s and they both made the Hall of Fame. One of them played in the middle, one of them played outside, and I can never remember which is which. I feel like Jack Lambert is the middle linebacker because he was kind of known as that captain of the defense. So I'm thinking it's Jack Ham, if you're okay going with it.
Yes, absolutely. I'm good with that. I mean, I was with you. I just knew that he was a linebacker. I didn't know exactly where Lambert played. So,
Yeah. Okay. So we will check in with Ham.
Okay, and what the Hellmans? What did you guys have for an answer?
Yeah, we were doing the exact same thing over here, but I know Lambert played longer too. He wrapped up his career in '84. And the minute that you said that he was a middle linebacker, that absolutely clicked for us even more so. We did check in with Jack Ham.
All right, both teams are getting their points. Correct answer is Jack Ham. And you guys are correct that Jack Lambert was a Hall of Fame and 4-time Super Bowl champion inside linebacker who played his entire career with the Pittsburgh Steelers from 1974 to 1984. So good job on sussing that one out. The theme-linked answers thus far are Chuck Knobloch and Jack Ham. Moving on to question 3 in the missing link. In 2024, Dan Hurley became the 8th coach to win back-to-back NCAA Division I men's basketball championships. What coach had most recently joined this club 17 years before Hurley?
Josh, we're going to go ahead and check in.
Okay, TNT Dynamite is checked in, so what the Hellmans, you guys can talk it out.
I was just about to say, if you're confident about it, I'll trust you on that. But God, I feel so damn old now.
I know. Double-digit years ago is still firmly within the 2000s. And this is right around the time that old Joakim Noah and Billy Donovan led Florida Gators 1-2 in a row. And somehow Al Horford is still in the league. Yeah, just think however long ago Al Horford was in college, that's how long ago that was. So, yeah, Billy Donovan, check in.
Okay, and TNT Dynamite, what do you guys have for an answer?
Well, I was actually at the Sweet 16 in St. Louis in 2007 when Florida was there and won, and I happened to be outside having a cigarette with Yannick Noah. And he was just kind of hanging out there, and we sat there and had a conversation for 3 or 4 minutes with him. It was pretty neat, interesting. But yeah, we checked in with Billy Donovan as well.
All right, both teams are getting their points. Correct answer is Billy Donovan. The other 6 coaches on the list are Henry Iba from Oklahoma A&M, which is now Oklahoma State, Adolph Rupp from Kentucky, Phil Wolpert from San Francisco, Ed Juker from Cincinnati, John Wooden from UCLA, and Mike Krzyzewski from Duke. The theme-linked answers thus far are Chuck Knobloch, Jack Ham, and Billy Donovan.
Tim, funnily enough, I was also at the 2007 Sweet 16 and Elite 8 because I was in the basketball band for Oregon at the time.
Oh yeah,
and they lost to Florida in the Elite 8, in that Elite 8. So
yeah, we were in the same spot. Yep.
Yeah, sweet.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to question number 4 in the missing link. What U.S. woman was the driver who won the first ever gold medal in 2-woman bobsleigh at the 2002 Salt Lake City Olympics alongside teammate Vanetta Flowers?
Hey, Yash.
Yes, sir.
We're going to do that thing again where we check in 2025.
All right, what the Hellmans is checked in, so TNT Dynamite, you guys can talk it out.
I don't have a whole lot going on this one.
I have no clue. The only thing that I think we have a chance is if it's like a crossover athlete like Herschel Walker did it, where he jumped in the bobsled.
Right, but I think Vanetta Flowers was that crossover athlete. I think she was the sprinter, and then the driver was like a was like a established bobsled driver. But I don't have any sort of an inkling on anything with this, though.
Yeah, I have no clue either. You mean
Should we just check in Herschel Walker for giggles?
that sounds great.
All right, we will check in with Olympic gold medalist in the women's bobsled, Herschel Walker.
My God.
And what the Hellmans, what'd you guys have for an answer?
I know this one because Vanetta Flowers, I believe she's the first black athlete to win a winter Olympic gold, and her teammate was Jill Bacon. So that's what we checked in with was Jill Bacon.
Well, one team will be receiving points. I guess I didn't realize that's how her last name was pronounced, but I guess I'll trust you on that. The correct answer apparently is Jill Bacon. I would have said Bakken, but I didn't listen to this one. I usually give a listen on how to pronounce from YouTube and that. I just didn't. So, all right. So since 2002, the U.S. has won 6 medals in 2-woman bobsleigh, 3 silver and 3 bronze. And Ilana Myers has been a member of 4 of those medal-winning duos. So, all right, the theme-linked answers thus far are Chuck Knobloch, Jack Ham, Billy Donovan, and Jill Bacon. And that brings us to question number 5, Ian the Missing Link. What is the 2-word alliterative nickname for the 2014 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion who drove the number 4 Budweiser and Jimmy John's cars?
Josh, we will check in.
Okay, TNT Dynamite has checked in. So, what the Hellmans, you guys can talk it out.
Yeah.
Wasn't this supposed to be the easy one?
I'm going to make my Marcus noise.
No, number 5 isn't necessarily an easy question. The answer typically is the giveaway of the theme.
Big beef.
I wish
gotta be
my
alliterative.
name was Big Beef.
Yeah. Sammy Steaks.
God, I have absolutely no clue. What drivers were even around then?
So Jimmy Johnson was winning a ton, but I think, like we said, that's a little bit on the nose to drive the Jimmy John's car.
I know, like Dale Earnhardt Jr. That's not any.
All right, just to try and help you guys a little bit here, not a lot, but I'm going to say, remember, I didn't think that that's how you pronounce Jill's last name. Remember when I said that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't think her name was Bacon. I thought it was Bakken.
Okay. Is this hang on. Okay, now we got to go back through the.
I just didn't want to have to sit here and hear you make
more meat puns.
Puns.
Whatever. That makes one of us.
With Bakken, it's now sounds a chicken makes. Chocolate block.
Billy.
Isn't Bakken like a 70s rock group? Or 80s rock group?
Chuck Knob Blockman Turner Overdrive.
Jill Dawkin.
Yeah, we already had Mystic earlier in the.
There was Joey Logano around then.
Kevin Harvick. What's the other guy? What's the brothers, right?
Bush, the Bushes. Bush Bros. Bush Bro.
Bushy Bro.
We're gonna need an answer soon from you guys here.
Bad Bush. Bacon Bush.
Bacon Bush. I think that's probably
That's
most
it.
likely answer.
Yeah. Let's check in with Bacon Bush.
Bacon Bush.
Oh my. And TNT Dynamite. What did you guys have for an answer?
So we went in a different direction with this.
Why?
I mean, unfortunately, I got to tell you, I feel like you guys are having way more fun here than we are. I really wish you would have gone your route.
We did spend a good amount of time in the chat deciding whether the Billy or the Donovan was the meat. Was it like a Donovan cut of steak,
Yes.
or a Billy roast, or something like that? But we went off of something that we have never heard of, but it's alliterative. It has to do with what we think is the theme, and it's got a guy that was a very good NASCAR driver at the time. We checked in with Happy Harvick.
One team is getting points. The correct answer is Happy Harvick. Kevin also has a 3-word alliterative nickname of Hot Humid Harvick.
Ew.
So that's why. All right. So the theme linked answers.
I would have got that one easily.
The theme linked answers are Chuck Knobloch, Jack Ham, Billy Donovan, Jill Bacon, and Happy Harvick.
Oh.
One team has already checked in with a correct answer. So,
never
what
mind.
the Hellmans, you guys, if you want to talk it out on what you believe the theme is.
Yeah, it's Adam Sandler characters. Jack and Jill, both on here.
Ew.
Yes. Ew, exactly.
Yeah, we didn't need any Jack or Jill references. Though, what was it? Al Pacino doing the dance from that movie is truly phenomenal.
What about Click Knobloch?
I think that was the Army of the Dead, Click Nataro, right?
Oh, turd. So it's not cuts of meat after all.
It is not.
Adam Sandler characters.
And yes, TNT Dynamite checked in after the third question with the correct answer. Most specifically, the theme is people that share names or nicknames with titular Adam Sandler characters. Because we had Charles Chuck Levine from I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, Jack Sadelstein from Jack and Jill, Billy Madison from Billy Madison, Jill Sadelstein from Jack and Jill, and Happy Gilmore from Happy Gilmore. So, yeah, I just couldn't hear any more big beefs and whatever.
I'm telling you, Bad Bush is just Bacon Bush is the thing that needs to be. Okay.
I have NASCAR champion Big Beef Bacon Bush written down as an episode.
Hot, humid, big beef bacon bush.
No. See, this reference to a porn parody has gotten us all off track here, and we're gonna have to edit this. We're just gonna have to bleep this whole thing.
If you ever have like a new Benchies award, the Hot Human Bacon Bush is a great offering.
Sponsored by Hellman's.
Oh, man. Yeah. Whew. All right. Well, after the third quarter, we have the following scores. We have a lead change. What the Hellmans is at 405, and TNT Dynamite is at 430. And that brings us to the fourth quarter.
The fourth quarter, known as Put Your Fours Up. This quarter consists of 4 categorized questions that teams will wager up to 100 points each, not to exceed their current point total.
The categories for today are as follows. Question 1, anger management, in reference to Major League Baseball. Question 2, the longest yard, in reference to the NFL. Question 3, the do-over, in reference to rules. And question 4, the ridiculous 6, in reference to the NBA. It is now time for the teams to place their wagers.
We'd like to take a minute to invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at BenchwarmersTP. We also have a Facebook group for fans of the pod called The Bench. Join us there to comment on the latest episodes and share cool sports facts and trivia. If you'd be willing to rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher, we'd greatly appreciate the support so that other people may find this podcast. Thanks.
Now that the wages are in, on to the questions. Question 1, in the category of anger management. What two-time MVP was ejected from more MLB games than any other player since 2000?
Josh, we are going to be the first team to check in the fourth quarter in 2025.
All right. TNT Dynamite has checked in, so what the Hellmans, you guys can talk it out briefly and let me know your answer and wager.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of two-time MVPs.
So I'm stuck on Harper because he gets thrown out a lot because he's a hothead, and he won in 15 and 23. He won recently. He's won 2 for sure. Now, has he been in the league long enough to have been the most since 2000? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't think of too many. I can't think of too many. I'm trying to think of how many two-time MVPs, but I don't honestly. I've been so out of it on baseball as of late because I'm sick of watching the Dodgers just scoop up every player imaginable.
I did see another tweet today that said that Jimmy Butler had been traded to the Dodgers with a deferred cash deal. So the other two-time MVPs that you were naming, like Cabrera, Pujols, Thomas, are all like Lady Bing of the MLB type players.
Well, and that's why I initially sent you Barry Bonds, because I know he's got some ejections, but I'm just going off of two-time MVPs, and I do not have a lot of recent baseball knowledge. Like I said, I'm just out of it with baseball pretty much ever since we came back to reality a couple of years ago.
Yeah, since crowds were allowed back in.
Yeah,
stadiums. I think I kind of like Harper. It's the name that popped into my head first, and he has only won 2. Bonds has won like 7. I think he won 01 through 04. And then the other names I don't think got ejected that much, but I know Harper gets ejected a lot because he's a hothead.
All right,
so let's go with that because we're running out of time anyway. So Bryce Harper for 100 points.
Okay, and TNT Dynamite, what'd you guys have for an answer and a wager?
Had a very similar discussion. Yeah, a lot of guys either only won 1 MVP or they won a bunch of them. Like A-Rod's got more than 2, Pujols has more than 2, Bonds has more than 2. And I'm pretty sure Harper won 1 with the Nationals and 1 with the Phillies, and he likes to run his mouth and get ejected a lot, so it feels right on vibes. So we also checked in with Bryce Harper for 100 points.
Both teams are getting their points. The correct answer is Bryce Harper. Harper has been ejected from 21 games so far. The other two-time MVPs since 2000 are Miguel Cabrera, who was ejected 13 times, and Aaron Judge, who's been ejected once. The other players with at least 15 ejections since 2000 are Matt Kemp with 20, Milton Bradley with 19, Gary Sheffield 15, Ivan Rodriguez 15, and Joey Votto 15. So
Votto was another one that popped in my head, but I thought he only had 1 MVP.
Yes, he does not hit that criteria.
I'm surprised Milton Bradley only has 15 ejections.
All right. Well, both teams got 100 more points, so we don't really need to talk much about the scores. Let's move on to question 2 in the category of the longest yard. Jalen Hurts has scored the most 1-yard rushing touchdowns since 2021 with the help of the tush push. What quarterback has thrown the most 1-yard touchdown passes since 2021? Hint, the top two play in the same division?
Josh,
Yes.
for the first time in 2025, another team is going to check in first in the fourth.
All right. What the Hellmans has checked in, so TNT Dynamite, you guys can talk it out. Let me know your answer and your wager.
All right, so we're kind of attacking this division by division, ruling some things out. We're kind of thinking NFC North is out, NFC South is out, because there just aren't quarterbacks that fit the two guys have been there that whole time criteria.
Like you said, the East is probably NFC East.
Yeah, just because Jalen Hurts is in the question, and it's really just Hurts and Dak that would qualify.
Yeah, it couldn't be any of the Commanders.
Let's see.
Or, God forbid, the Giants.
Right. So kind of as those pairs of the top two guys that would be in the same division, we brought up maybe Mahomes and Herbert, Stafford and Kyler, maybe Josh Allen and Tua. Though I think you're right that Josh Allen doesn't feel like he'd have enough because the James Cook's been leading the NFL in TDs, and Josh Allen runs some into.
Yeah, this is tough.
I threw out Lamar and Burrow, possibly one of those two. Although Lamar's also a big enough runner, I feel like he's not.
Right. But
yeah,
just the 1 yard. He's not big enough to do to run from the one.
Right.
You know what I mean? He usually gets his because he's from 10, 15 out.
I'm leaning Mahomes just because their running game hasn't been super great in that whole stretch. He does the pop pass thing. He's got Kelsey as an outlet. He's got passing options, so where he could conceivably be throwing a lot of 1 yard touchdown passes. So
And he's definitely not going to go under center.
yeah, so that might be my lean in a sea of not a whole lot of hard information.
Yeah, right. I mean, I can't think of anybody else. And not only that, they have to score a lot of touchdowns as well.
Right.
I mean, I think we got to go with Mahomes. I don't know if there's any. I don't think we can come up with a better answer. I think that with everything we just said and all the trickery that they do right there at the one, and with them, I think we should do that.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead. Let's check in with Patrick Mahomes
for 100 points.
Okay, and what the Hellmans? What did you guys have for an answer and a wager?
We had similar thought processes, but went a different direction. And we thought of people who might be first and second and went or throw a lot of touchdowns. We just thought, okay, let's go with people who throw a lot of touchdowns and then work backwards from there. And with Burrow throwing 48 of them this year, we kind of thought he had Chase and Higgins to throw to, and it would make sense that maybe Lamar would be number 2 down there. So because he didn't have the greatest running game until this year, so we checked in with Joe Burrow for 100 points.
One team is getting points. The correct answer is Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes has thrown 15 one-yard touchdown passes since 2021. Justin Herbert has thrown 12. Aaron Rodgers is third with 11, while Baker Mayfield and Dak Prescott each have 10. Hurt has had 33 one-yard rushing touchdowns since 2021, followed by Josh Jacobs with 16 and Derrick Henry with 15. And Devontae Adams and Mike Evans have both caught 7 one-yard touchdowns since 2021. So I figure I'd give you all the main positions with that. So the score is getting less close. Let's just say that. And we'll move on to we'll move on to.
We don't get extra points for Bacon Bush.
Not big beef bacon bush. No.
That's our second place prize today, Waller.
Yes. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
All right, let's move on to question 3 in the category of the do-over. What is the term in tennis for when the ball makes contact with the net but still lands in the service box during an otherwise valid serve?
Yeah. Let's go.
Yep, we're going to check in super quickly in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what the Hellmans has checked in, so TNT Dynamite, you guys can talk it up. Let me know your answer and your wager.
Yeah, we were not too far behind you. I believe that is called a let. That's really all I have. I mean, I think it's from my days of playing like Wii tennis. I think that's when I was. But yeah, we checked in. We're going to check in with let for 100.
And what the Hellmans, what'd you guys have for an answer and a wager?
Sabalenka Karl Anthony Towns. Yes, we had let as well.
For how many points?
100.
Well, both teams are getting their points. A let is tennis's version of the do-over. And a let can also be called during play when there is some distraction to either player not caused by the players themselves, such as a ball boy moving behind a receiver, debris flying across the court in windy conditions, or a ball accidentally falling out of a player's pocket or entering from a neighboring court. So there are multiple ways to get a let. The most common is the net into the service box. Well, both teams got their 100 points, which is great. So let's move on to question 4 in the category of the ridiculous 6. The number 6 has been retired by 6 NBA franchises. The ridiculous part is that both the Orlando Magic and the Sacramento Kings retired it for the 6th man. The other 4 franchises to retire the number 6 are the Boston Celtics, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Phoenix Suns, and the San Antonio Spurs. Name all 4 players for whom these franchises retired the number 6.
Sir, that's the incorrect question in the chat.
I'd like
Oh, you
to
want
answer that one.
The answer is
I just
let.
wanted to give you the.
I would like to answer that one instead.
Sorry, that I wanted you to see the do-over question because for doing over.
Do-over?
There you go. How's that look?
Yeah.
Let, second question.
You guys each get 0 points for the second let.
Hey, Josh, for the last time in 2025 in the fourth quarter, we're going to confidently check in with all 4 answers. All 5 of the missing link.
All right, what the Hellmans has checked in, so TNT Dynamite, you guys can talk it out. Give me your answers, your wager, and your wager. Yeah, that's the thing. Talk it out, answers and wager. That.
Give you our answers, the wager, and our wager. Okay, so we feel good about Bill Russell for the Celtics, Dr. J for the Sixers, George Gervin for the Spurs. It's the Suns player that is sticking in our craw. I can name a surprising number of Suns with their jerseys retired, but none of them are 6, I don't think.
I think it's Dan Marley.
He's definitely a single digit.
Agreed.
If it's not 6, it's 9. I can't picture it either way, or I can picture it both ways.
No, I'm not. Just stop right there, Dave. I saw no. I saw it, Dave.
I'm not saying anything at all.
It's 6 or 9, not 6.
Right, but you can see it. Right.
Both ways.
Right. 96 are just rubbing backs together.
It's just the cancer.
I'm not going to kink shame some people like that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it matters. So let's not belabor the point. You want to just check in Dan Marley?
Yeah, I think so. Why not? I mean,
all right. We'll check in Thunder Dan Marley for 100 points.
All right, and what the Hellmans, what are your answers and wager?
Yeah, so we came out to the first 3 relatively quickly. Celtics, Russell, 76ers, Dr. J. The little general Avery Johnson for the Spurs. And then we kind of bandied a lot of the same names like Kevin Johnson, Dan Marley, back and forth. But Dave actually came up with the last answer, so I'm going to let him take the last one.
He was a Rookie of the Year candidate in the early goings of the Phoenix Suns. And very similar to what you were thinking, Matt, the 69. We checked in with the legendary Bacon Bush.
For 100 points.
Yeah.
Well, neither team is getting their points.
What?
For this one, you guys one team correctly identified 2, one team correctly identified 3. Bill Russell for the Celtics, Dr. J for the 76ers, Avery Johnson for the Spurs, and the Suns, number 6, Dan Marley is number 9. Number 6 was Walter Davis.
I'm not going to do it.
You got 5
Can he
bucks.
who his own question?
That is a name that is new to me.
So he is a Hall of
Nickname
Famer.
Bacon Bush.
I mean, you got to learn up some of your 1970s and 80s Phoenix Suns, apparently.
I was saying to Tim in the chat, I don't think I can name a single Phoenix Sun from before like that 1990s run.
Yeah, so his career was from 77 to 92, and he played for the Suns from 77 to 88. And funny enough, Dave, I thought you were on to maybe getting it because Walter Davis was the NBA Rookie of the Year in 1978. So when you said that, I was like, holy crap, he knows who it is.
And funny enough, his alternate nicknames from Al McCoy were Sweet D and the Velvet Touch. Just saying, Bacon Bush just works with that.
And good old big beef Walter Davis.
Sweet velvety Bacon Bush.
All right, well, we have survived this game with many an innuendo.
Without Eric Eade here.
Oh, thank God that Eric
you
is
imagine?
not here.
All those innuendos and not one word about the taint.
We were at our best.
We don't want to
behavior,
steal from him. Come on.
See, we
Right.
can make this a family show.
That's gimmicky.
All right,
We don't have to work blue.
we might have to put a disclaimer at the beginning of this episode. Be careful listening to this one with your kids. You might have a few things to explain. Maybe. All right,
Meats don't grow on trees?
The game has come to an end, and here are the final scores. What the Hellmans finishes with 405 points. And our clipboard captains of the game, who are receiving the coveted Teddy Bridgewater Award with 630 points, is TNT Dynamite. So we'll start with Tim. You have anything that you would like to say before we call it a night?
Well, actually, I was thinking during the episode that actually the last time I was on it was right before the beginning of the NFL season. And I believe our team name was I just wanted to give an update that our team name was Caleb Williams for MVP. And, I would like to let everyone know that he is not going to win MVP. So I got that going for me as a Bears fan. So, but always fun, gentlemen. Good times. So I appreciate you guys reaching out and saying you needed somebody. I'm glad I was able to hop on. It was a perfect night for me. Fun as always. Great game, Josh. Good times.
Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Taco, great time, buddy.
Dave, how about you? You got anything that you'd like to say before we call it a night?
This was a very fitting and apropos night, a day altogether. Tim being a Bears fan, and the Bears narrowly eking out a victory over the Packers today in a virtually meaningless game, just like tonight. So this has been truly tremendous to kind of finish up the day with a bunch of fun. As well. So I appreciate it. Hey, thanks Tim for jumping on. Thanks for having me as well, because I absolutely adore what bench warmers do, and I'm happy to be one of the individuals that gets to be a part of these wonderful episodes when I am able to pay on the Patreon. So, or not when as I always pay on the Patreon. Made it sound way more depressing than it actually is. So.
Well, Dave and Tim, thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being part of our Patreon team. Thank you to all of our Patreon team members, as well as just you listeners out there. Even if you don't give us some money for this, because you're probably smarter than these clowns. But anyway, with that, on behalf of Walling, Taco, and the rest of the Benchwarmers, I'd like to say thanks for listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. And until next time, we'll keep the bench warm.
That ball hit high and deep. Stretch! Get on back there. They look up. You can put it on the board. Yes!
Into deep left center for Mitchell. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
That great music you're listening to is by Justin Nozick. Thanks to him for producing that music for us. You've been listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We are at BenchwarmersTP.